Shema Yisrael, Yahu Eloheinu, Yahu Echad. Baruch Shem Kebod Malkotho Leholam Voed.
No. Okay.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom, everyone. This is Rabbi Khartoumaya de Babel Raz, the chief magician of Mystery Babylon. I have a very special guest today with me. He's my senior chief most disciple of all my disciples. He hails from Israel. His name is Hadar. I think it's Hadar ben Eden. Is that right, Hadar? Is it Hadar ben Eden or just Hadar Eden?
Hadar Eden.
Yeah, Hadar Eden. Okay, so Hadar Eden. And basically, as my senior most chief disciple, I'd say that he is second only to me, to the chief magician of Mystery Babylon. I think we're the two. I mean, I'd go as far as to say we're probably the two highest Kabbalists in the world right now. He's fluent in Hebrew and Aramaic, like I am, and he's read most of the large range of very esoteric Kabbalistic texts. Many of the texts that I've read. He's obviously nowhere near my level, but he's not too far off. You know, he's not that far off from where I'm at. You know, so this guy's very, very highly initiated, extremely highly initiated. Right, we're talking somebody who's fluent Hebrew and Aramaic, and has read and spanned most of the esoteric texts and writes at the Grandmaster level in Hebrew and Aramaic, like myself. So, very, very impressive to say the least. And he just published his first book on Amazon.com. What was the title of your book, Hadar?
Theology of Nakedness, Frankist Commentary on the Song of Songs.
Yes, and very powerful, very deep Frankist book. There are some extraordinarily very deep, powerful Frankist revelations in the book, and really interesting. Something that I'm very excited for is that he's currently working. So this book that he just published is completely in English, and what really has me excited is that he's currently working on a large Hebrew Aramaic manuscript of even higher, more powerful, more divine Frankist revelations. And I've had the golden opportunity to read selected, extracts from this, book that he's working on right now. And I'm hoping that he will somehow soon be able to publish it. As soon as he does, I'll post it on my blog and share it with many of you other disciples and those who follow me. So I'm very excited about that because I just read we were discussing a very small extract from the book just before this conversation we're having here, and he was he had we're discussing just like some really deep, powerful Frankish revelations. It's really deep, powerful stuff, very interesting stuff. But anyways, so the purpose of this video here is we just wanted to have an in-depth conversation, on this book. We kind of want to just promote it here on this video and just talk a little bit further about it. So Hadar, I'll open it up to you, and how you want to begin the discussion about your book.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, I want to put forward a basic exposition of what my project generally revolves around, not just in this book, but also in the sefer that I'm currently working on. And what I'm working on is basically delineating the contours of the esoteric and yet systematic theology implicit in the Masoretic text, as well as in the Midrashim and the Talmud. Now, it would sound counterintuitive that there is an esoteric Christianity implicit within those scriptures, but once you read those scriptures with certain esoteric sensitivities, using rabbinic exegetical techniques themselves, you will be able to figure out not only a Christian message, but also something completely different than how certain Christians claiming apostolic authority would read those scriptures. Now, the central principle is that the contrast between Judaism and Christianity is the contrast between guilt and boldness. And that is a contrast that is usually for an uninitiated Christian, it would sound like a counterintuitive statement, because there's the well-known Christian guilt, but it is in fact originating in the Jewish mindset, and this contrast between the guilty Jew compared to the bold Christian is explicated in the verse in Genesis chapter 25, verse 27, where it is written, Esau is a man of the field, and Jacob is dwelling in tents. Now, the tent is the archetype of concealment, right? Because Jacob stays inside the tent. He's afraid of showing himself, going outside, extending and exposing and expressing the contours of his personality. He prefers to remain within the tent, within the garments of the concealment, or the hymen, or the foreskin. There are lots of levels to the mystery of the tent, and once he goes outside, Jacob Frank says, once he goes outside, he goes into the field. He pretends to be Esau. He goes out in the field because Esau is a man of the field. And my commentary on the Song of Songs, one of the central verses in the Song of Songs, upon which I construct the entire esoteric Christian theology of the verse, Jacob is dwelling in tents and Esau is a man of the field. It's written in the Song of Songs, Come, my beloved, let us go forth into the field. And that is, the initiated ones know that the Song of Songs talks about a return to the Garden of Eden. The field is the symbol for the Garden of Eden. So once you go out into the field, you return to the Garden of Eden, and at that you return to a state of nakedness and shamelessness, or boldness. Now, why?
Yeah, Hadar, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Hadar, but these are very, very powerful revelations, because they they are strong indications, and I would go as far as to say proofs and seals of the superiority of Esau over Jacob.
Yes,
right?
precisely.
Because the profane, right, see Esau as evil. They might even see him going out into the field being a hunter as evil, right?
Yes.
But on the very esoteric level, right, we understand that this is Esau, being a man of the Garden of Eden and returning to the Garden of Eden. And Song of Songs, I mean, just Song of Songs saying, let us go out into the field. That's a very, very powerful equation to Esau, not Yaakov.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
would be very, very troubling, to the uninitiated Jew. Very, very
Yes.
troubling. Because
Yes.
you go to a
Very
Jew and you tell
troubling.
him, you go to a Jew and you tell him, okay, Song of Songs says, let us go out into the field like Esau, not like Yaakov. Yaakov's in a tent. Like this
Yes.
is very, very powerful. But continue, Hadar. This is very, very powerful stuff.
Yes. So yes, it is very problematic for the Jew. For example, when you talk to Jews, they even see Rabbi Nachman of Breslov as problematic, because Rabbi Nachman of Breslov famously had the concept of azud kedusha, holy boldness, that you need to aggrandize yourself, or more elaborately, more specifically, to expose yourself, or to be sincere about whatever emotions pass in your mind, not necessarily through words, but also through shoutings, or screamings, or singings. But the point of the extroversion, the extroversive nature that Rabbi Nachman preaches for, a lot of Orthodox Jews who are not of Breslov Chassidut say Rabbi Nachman is very dangerous, because he tells you to lose your shame. And shame is one of the signs of Judaism. It is in the rabbinic writings, shame is considered one of the signs of Judaism, one of the things that mark a Jew, make him what he is. Now, if you read the book of Genesis, you understand that shame is a state of being imprisoned within sin, right? It is being imprisoned within the coats of skin, within the leaves of the fig tree. The clothing that Adam and Eve needed to clothe themselves with once they were introduced into that realm of shame. And a state of shamelessness is a state of boldness. And one of the names that are attributed to Jesus in Talmudic writings is Aspanim, the bold-faced, the one who has no shame. And
correct.
So Jesus, what is implied in the Talmudic attribution of boldness to Jesus is that he is the second Adam who is sinless.
Yeah, that's Hadar. That's an extraordinary, super powerful observation. Very top-notch analysis on your part because you know we initiates and adepts, more properly us grandmasters, we understand that Judaism quintessentially is a very repressive cult. I mean, quintessentially, it is a very repressive cult. And already, when Yeshu comes on the scene and Christianity enlarges and expands on the scene, right? What do we see of Christianity, right? We see that in Judaism, it's very repressive towards women, right? Women have to cover their hair. They have to be very humble. It's very, very, repressive of females. And with Christianity, we see the opposite, right? The women do not, you don't see the women covering their hair. Jakob Frank talks about this, right,
Yeah, he
in his
talks
words.
about
He's
it.
like,
Yeah,
you
the
see the woman,
temporal
over
naked.
here. Yeah, he says in this estate, the women do not cover their hair. They're out. Some of them are preachers, some of them are teachers. There's a lot more. Christianity brought lots of freedom to women, which was an unshackling of Judaic feminist repression.
Yeah.
And so that's part of your broader explication, and the theology that you reveal here, very esoteric, Christian theology here of going back to Garden of Eden. What it entails is, basically going back to a shameless state, and that's what we see with Christianity, right? Christianity, its boldness is attempting gradually to go back to that state, and we see this with Yeshu and the progression of Christianity.
Yes. Precisely. I agree with you. And also one of the things that opened my eyes to that aspect of Christianity is a state of exposure or explicitness. It was that verse of Jacob Frank that you're talking about, that it contrasts the Jews who are modest with the Christians in Poland specifically, because Poland is geometrically connected to some eschatological prophecies that Frankist said. Poland specifically says the women in Poland walk around with their chests bare and their faces bare and their hairs all around, like without covering, etc. And it opened up my eyes to the central aspect of exhibitionism, but not just in the physical sense, not just in the carnal sense, but exhibitionism in the spiritual sense, in the sense that providence, which is supernatural, which is hyper-firmamental. It is above the firmament. It penetrates through the hymen that is the firmament and exposes itself and explicates itself through that concealing layer of the firmament and conducts its operations on earth. And what I claim in my in the afterword in my book is that whenever you see the symbol or the recurrent theme of adultery or promiscuity in the Masoretic text, for example, then it is, of course, there is the evil layer of it, which is the explicit carnal layer of promiscuity, but there is the spiritual layer, which is the promiscuity of providence in transgressing the laws of nature through its grace. And the operations of grace are transgressions of the astrally, mathematically organized fate of things on earth.
Okay. That's a pretty big mouthful. You mind maybe explaining a little bit more what you mean?
I mean that the firmament is the archetype of order. Yeah, the tree of knowledge is the tree of intelligence. Yes? When we talk about mathematics or science, these things developed from astrology, because astrology is the first field that studies the arithmetic structure of the world, or the fates, right? We call the stars fates, right? Mazalot. They determine the fates of things according to the organized, laminar, and constant constellations of theirs. Spirit and providence work according to laws that are mystery to us to such an extent that we would consider them completely illogical. That is what part of the gospel, that a person who is unworthy by the standards of natural ethics and natural logic would be saved, because grace transgresses all boundaries in its and it transgresses all the civilizational and universal prisons of the firmament that bound our actions to patterns. Grace transgresses those patterns that are determined by the stars.
Correct. Yes. That is true.
So there are a lot of layers to the mystery of transgression, which is obviously evil on the carnal level. But on the spiritual level, spirit fundamentally operates in transgressive ways, in ways that explicate things that in the carnal manner would need to be austere.
Okay. Yes, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, I guess it sounds complicated, but I try to put it as simply as possible. But those are I like those word bubbles.
Sure. I mean, I guess what you're trying to say, right, is that there's levels to transgressions, right? There
Yes,
is transgression in the sense of, okay, you've committed evil, you've transgressed, and done something that is evil, but you can also transgress to do something good, you know? You can see
yeah,
transgression as being something that is doing something that is good, meaning you're transgressing evil to do something good, So it can also be
yes,
reversed. The way you see transgression can essentially be reversed, is what you're saying.
yes. Yeah, because
And
the
that
firmament itself, the structures of the firmament, are themselves products of the primordial transgression of eating from the tree of knowledge.
how so?
Because the firmament is the tree of knowledge, essentially. It is the serpent. Yeah.
How
The
so?
knowledge. What?
How so?
Because there are lots of manners to that. For example, you know already of the gematria that the Gemara of Shkolov has brought, that Etzadat Vera equals Karka Kotel Gag, right? Karka Kotel Gag is a symbol of the house, right? Karka Kotel Gag is floor, wall, and what is name for Gag? Roof, yeah. So the floor, the wall, and the roof together create a house, right? The tree of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is the architect of the house. And I already told you before this recording that the firmament is a house, right? It is the vault of the vault that encompasses the earth, right?
All right,
It is the house.
let's take this back a bit for our viewers that may not understand. So you said the gram brings up that the gematria of Eitz Hada'ath Tob Wera, right,
Mhm.
is equal to I forget, what is it equal to again?
Karka kotel gag.
Wait,
Floor,
what was the
wall,
first
roof.
floor? What is floor again?
The bottom, the ground, right?
Yeah, but what's the word again?
Karka.
Oh, karka,
Yeah.
hotel, and you
Gag.
said gog,
Gag. Gimel gimel. Yeah.
gimel, gimel, gog. Okay, so it's so eight had the ath tobwara, so the tree of knowledge of good and evil in gematria is equal to karka, hotel, and gog, which is Hebrew for ground, wall, and roof. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So based on that gematria, right? Because we understand that the ground, the wall, and the roof basically um, are basically the structure of a house. So basically,
Yes.
we can say that ground, wall, and roof is house, or bait in Hebrew, and we know that Zebul in Hebrew, Zebul, which is one of the names of the seven firmaments,
Yes.
it basically means bait to or house, right? So
Yeah.
that's
House or
that's how
temple.
we equate. So from that understanding, So by understanding, okay, Zabul, one of the names of the seven firmaments, Zabul means bait in Hebrew. So from that we can then equate Rakia, the firmament, with bait, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then from that equation, where do we? Okay, so that then this is very powerful, by the way, because through transitive relation, we are now equating the tree of knowledge with the firmament, and this is just very very crazy. This is like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
from
it's also the tenth of Jacob and the tenth of Noah.
what about them?
That is the tenth of the Lamed Yud that Jacob Frank talks about. That is the firmament, essentially. It is the structure of the house, so the tent that constricts a man into a state of shame and shyness. And the
So
going
you're
out,
basically saying,
penetrating,
so
retrieving of the firmament. Yeah, the Gramam quotes a lot of the prayer Bikat Yotzer that says, "Uvokeh chalonei rakia," and he cleaves the windows of the firmament. That is the
so
mystery. Yeah.
yeah, so basically, I'm sorry to stop you. I'm just trying to slow down here so that our listeners can understand. So, I mean, basically, from an uninitiated, perspective, this sounds very bonkers, right? Because we're using, very high level mathematical equations here in Hebrew, right? So, first of all, right, we need to understand that the gram, is the one that reveals this gematria. I mean, the
Yes.
gram was like, a Frankist Grandmaster, and this is just one of the most
All of the growth.
this is one of the most powerful gematrias that he reveals in his book, Raza de Mehimnuta, and there's many levels to this gematria. In one of my very esoteric gates, I revealed one very esoteric level to it. But what Hadar is revealing here is another really super crazy esoteric level through which we understand through transitive relation that Eitz Hata'ath is being equated with Ba'it, or the Rak, or Rakia, or the firmament. So here we have a very powerful equation between Eitz Hata'ath and the Rakia. We also know, based on what you said, Hadar, that Rakia is the mystery of a tent, and you brought that back to Yaakov dwelling in a tent. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so then from that, we then see, okay, well, if the mystery of the Rakia is a tent and Yaakov dwells in a tent, meaning that he is within the Rakia or the firmament, then that we can see here how Yaakov is basically within Eitz Hata'ath,
Yes.
which is like really, really super crazy powerful stuff. I mean, we're going crazy. We're going like really nasty, crazy deep here. This is just getting really crazy deep.
Yeah. And moreover, this connects us to the letter Bet, which is in the mystery of the tree of knowledge.
And why do you say that?
First of all, Yaakov Frank says that, and second of all, also the letter Bet is the first letter of the Old Testament, of the Masoretic text. And there have been raised questions, why does the Old Testament, the Masoretic text, begin with the letter Bet and not with the letter Aleph? Why does it begin with the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet and not with the letter Aleph? Now, the mystery is that Bet is in the mystery of the verse in Jeremiah that says, "From the north shall an evil break forth." I found in the writings of Rabbi Moshe Zakuto, Zichrono Livracha, that was the teacher, the Rab of the Ramchal. He wrote in a commentary in the Bible that the verse from the north shall an evil break forth is about the letter Bet. And why is it about the letter Bet? Because the letter Bet is concealed from three sides, right? It is three lines that form a part of a square, but one line is open. Yeah? That open line is in the side that in traditional maps is the north, because the upper side is the east, so the left side is the north. So Bet is open from the left side, this is the north. Now,
Hadar,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hadar. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Yaakov Frank himself says the letter Bet is evil, right? Is in the mystery of evil, and the letter Bet is the mystery of from the north shall an evil break forth. And Rabbi Moshe Zakuto says that the open side of the letter Bet is Yeshu. Why is it Yeshu? Because he is the one who cleaves the tree of knowledge.
So this is like really, really super deep, powerful stuff. I mean, this goes to
And of course,
show.
just to say that bet is house, right? Bet is bite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
So,
on.
oh no, yeah, you're right. I mean, this is very, very deep, right? Because there's so many connections here, right? So basically, it shows a very high level of initiation to Moses Zakuto. In fact, Moshe Zakuto was a high level Shabbatean.
Yes. Yes.
He was a high level Shabbatean, Moshe Zakuto, so that's why he was very highly initiated, and he knew these very deep secrets. I don't think that's very well known unless you've studied Shabbateanism very deeply. You'll know that Moshe Zakuto was a high level Shabbatean. But essentially, this is powerful because you're right. Baith is evil because it comes from the Aramaic word bisha. Bish in Aramaic means
It's
evil, which
shock.
begins
Yes.
with
Shame.
death. Yeah. So basically, and not only that, but Beth is also the mystery of Bria. Because the real reason that the Torah begins with the letter Beth is because the Tanakh, the Torah, is the mystery of the Torah de Bria, which is the Torah de Sinai, which is the Torah de Samael and Lilith, and that is evil. The Torah de Sinai, which is the Torah de Samael and Lilith, which I've explained in my very esoteric books. I've explained this very deeply and extensively in my esoteric books. If you've read them, you're highly initiated. You know that it was Samael and Lilith that gave the Torah on Mount Sinai, and that's why that Torah is evil, and that is what we call the Torah de Bria, and it's to indicate the Beth is number 2. It's to indicate that this Torah is secondary. It is not primary. Torah is not primary. It is secondary. The superior Torah is primary. That is the Torah de Atzilut, which is the Torah de Mashiach. This is a very great mystery. But and this also connects to the Bait because we just very recently, a few minutes ago, right? We made the very powerful equation between Bait and Eitz HaDa'ath, right?
Yes.
And we know Eitz HaDa'ath on one level can be said as being evil, right? From
Yes.
the Nachash or the serpent. So it's all interconnected. I mean, we're making all of these really powerful, crazy interconnections. We're going so crazy deep right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Now
this
this
is
gets
madness.
deeper because the word evil in the verse from the North Channel evil break forth, it is ra'ah, which can also be read as ro'eh, shepherd. And
Indeed.
Rabbi Nachman of Breslov also plays on that word game. That ro'eh should be read as ra'ah should be read as ro'eh in that verse. And
So would you say the Roeh here is Yeshu?
yeah, there are numerous levels to the mystery of ra'ah. There's the good ra'ah and there's an evil ra'ah. So even evil
Correct.
has two sides, two aspects. So
Correct.
the good
Indeed.
aspect of ra'ah is the ro'eh, the shepherd.
You're right. This reminds me you know there's a very, very powerful document where Shabbatai Zvi, he wrote a letter to all the leading Rabbanim explaining why Shabbatai Zvi was the Mashiach. And in that letter, he revealed the highest mysteries, which I've revealed in some of my writings. I mean, basically, what I revealed in my writings, what I knew and revealed in my writings before I even knew about Shabbatai Zvi and Frankism, he was revealing the same stuff. I was like channeling Nathan of Gaza in my early first writings, and I didn't even realize it until after the fact. But in that letter, he reveals the highest mysteries of why Shabbatai Zvi is the Mashiach, with powerful, proofs from the Zohar and the Talmud, etc. And one proof that he brings is from the Tikkunim. There's a Tikkun where it says that the Mashiach is Zadik, or he's good inside, but he wears an evil garment. And he explains
Yeah.
that mystery very beautifully and very well, right? The Mashiach, he's good inside, but he wears an evil garment, right? And that's why the Yehudim or the Jews reject the Mashiach, because they only see the evil garment. They don't see the pnimiut, the internality,
Yes.
And so that relates to this evil that you're talking about, because there's two evils, right? When we see the Mashiach wearing the evil garment, the Mashiach will wear an evil garment, right? That evil garment is really good, right? That's the great
Yep.
mystery that most people can't understand.
Yes, and also, for example, in the Midrash, Otiot de Rabbi Akiva, right? It is written there that the letter Ein, right, is read Ein. It is in the letter of Esau because it is Ein Milui Ein. Yeah, the filling of the letters of Ein equals the Samech Mem, and But also, it is written that the Mashiach will be ani. He will be a poor, wretched man. And the word ani is a letter permutation of ein.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So
this
yeah,
is why I always said in many of my esoteric writings I've always revealed that there are two Samaels, just like the Zohar. The Zohar says this too, right? There's a good holy Samael, there's an evil Samael. The Zohar, there's a passage in the Zohar where it says, it says eight Samael,
it's some
where eight Samael. There exists Samael, and then there exists Samael. There's another Samael you don't even know about. Nobody knows about this Samael.
Yes.
And this is why Yeshu is the mystery of the Holy Samael, because he is Ani, right? It says in Zechariah in the Oracle he is Ani, and Ani is Ein. It's a permutation of Ein, which in Gematria is equal to Samael. In Gematria Im Kalal it's equal to Samael.
Yeah, in column.
And so that's the mystery. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also ein means also eye, right? So there's an evil eye and there's a good eye, and both of them are eyes, but there are numerous aspects to the mystery of the eye.
Yeah, correct. That's another proof and seal of the mystery, right? We know
Yes.
that the all-seeing eye is the mystery of Samael, but there's an evil eye, meaning there's the evil Samael, there's a good eye, which is the good or holy Samael, right? But how many people know this? I mean, this is something only grandmasters know, So
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. Yes, and the interesting thing is that the mystery of whiteness, right? There is the principle of Einach Hivra. In the Zohar, the eye of providence is called Einach Hivra, the white eye. And Chivra is also the name of the Mashiach, right? In Sanhedrin 98b, I showed you that part that the rabbis in that part of the Talmud, they say that the Messiah will be a leper, and the word for leper in Aramaic is Chivra. They say he will be Chivra de Rabbi. Chivra from the house of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was the canonizer of the Talmud, and the word Chivra means white and leper. And it means leprous and white, and moreover, they quote the Isaiah 53 there to prove that it is the Messiah. So they think the Talmudic sages themselves thought that Isaiah 53 talks about the Messiah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stupidity of Jews, right? We have Jews for Judaism. We have all these like really stupid, profane Jews that for past 1800 years have argued, oh no, the Christians are wrong. Yeshayahu chapter 53 is not about Yeshu. It's not about the Mashiach. All this stupidity, all this retardation, when all you have to look is Talmud Bavli, Tractate Sanhedrin 98b, right there very explicitly, the Rabbanan, Rabbah says, yes, Yeshayahu chapter 53 is exactly about the Mashiach. Like, how stupid and retarded can you be as a Jew to, like, deny this and to go against the Christians and say, oh, the Christians are stupid, the Christians are dumb, they don't know what they're talking about? I mean, Talmud Bavli, Tractate Sanhedrin 98b, proves the Christians completely correct and right. I mean, the stupidity and the retardation it's mind-boggling to me. It really is.
Yeah, and moreover, I told you, I'll tell you the proof why the Talmudic sages called Jesus a son of a menstruant. And there's an entire mystery to that, because we both know that the Talmudic sages were esoteric Christians. Now,
indeed. By the way, before you continue, this is a very great mystery that is not really known to practically any Jew. You have to be a grandmaster to know that many of the highest Talmudic sages were esoteric Christians. This is one of the highest secrets that's not very well known. I mean, moreover, they were Gnostics. Really, what they were is they were full-blown like grandmaster Gnostics, and unless you are at the grandmaster level, you won't understand or see this when you read the Talmud. It's only a handful of grandmasters that can see and understand this when they read the Talmud, because the Talmud is one of the most highest esoteric texts. It's a highly encrypted text that very few people have cracked. Me and Hadar are one of the two people in this last generation that have cracked some of the highest mysteries in the Talmud. But go ahead, Hadar, continue.
Yeah. So we know there are three names that are attributed to Jesus in the Talmud. I already told you about the bold-faced, right? We've explicated that aspect. The bastard one, Mamzer, has a lot of mysteries that the Ramam himself has showed you a lot of gematria concerning Mamzer. I've also elucidated a lot of stuff about it in my book, but we'll not get into that, because I want to tell you about the son of the menstruant that connects to Sanhedrin 98b. And it is because I found, skimming through the Midrash Rabbah, I found on Vaikra Rabbah, in the commentary on Parashat Tazria, it says, commenting on the verse that talks about the man that will be, that leprosy will break out through his skin. In the Parashat Isaiah, it is written there, blah, 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 and it's written there that a man who inseminates his wife while she is menstruating, that sons will be lepers. And we know that Messiah will be a leper, that Messiah has been a leper.
That's very, very powerful and interesting to say the
It's
least.
by Korah 15. I think it's safe 15.
Okay, so it's Wa'ikra Rabbah, the Midrash to Wa'ikra Rabbah, chapter 15 somewhere. Okay, good to know. But yeah, that's really, really deep because that just cements what the sages say in Talmud Tractate Sanhedrin. I mean, that just cements it. That reveals the whole freaking mystery. And by the way, Hadar reveals like really mind blowing, super crazy, deep revelations on leprosy in his book, and how they relate to Yeshu and purity and things of that sort. It's very, very interesting, powerful stuff. Very interesting. Obviously, he doesn't want to. We don't want to reveal that, but he's touching a bit about it here with what he just revealed, which is very, very powerful, very, very interesting. That is really crazy because that fully explains the mystery of why they said what they said. I mean, it makes perfect sense when you understand the midrashim, which is why it is so crucial that you have a holistic understanding of our ancient texts. Right. This is why you have to spend so many years in the yeshiva, studying. By the way, Hadar, I wanted to ask you, how did you get to this level of like being fluent in Hebrew, Aramaic, and understanding the ancient texts? Because a lot of Israelis. I know Israelis that like they can't read Aramaic, they have trouble reading rabbinic texts, like so how did you get so expert in all these things? Did you study at the yeshiva or what?
No, I'm an autodidact. It's illegal to be an autodidact, but I'm an autodidact of a sort,
You're a what?
Autodidact.
Oh, okay, self-learned like I am. Okay, so you're like me. You're self-taught basically. Okay. Yeah. That's what most true grandmasters are self-taught. I figure because it's not good when you're part of the system, right? This is why in the Talmud Babli it says to hate the Rabbanut, to hate the rabbinical order because that's where the error of Rab is, and they when you're part of that structure and that order, there a lot of them are very ignorant and they don't have understanding, and they'll chain you, to Lilith. You're chained to if you're in the yeshiva and you have Orthodox Jews teaching you and training you, like you're not gonna get very far, because they don't have true understanding,
Yeah.
You have to break out of the box,
Yeah, I guess that's a part of being a leper, being a son of Christ, be a leper.
Yeah, you have to be an outcast. We're outcasts.
Yeah.
There are like lepers. We're outcasts. We're considered heretics. We're probably considered the highest heretics in the world.
Yeah. No, there's an entire mystery to the leper because it is written about the leper in the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, which is the deepest, in my opinion, one of the deepest chapters in the Masoretic text. Chapter 13 of Leviticus, it is written on the leper, without the camp shall his habitation be. If someone has a leprosy breaking out through his skin, he is defiled, he needs to stand without the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the camp, the word for camp is machane, but it is also ohel. Right, in the book of Psalms, it is written, Nega lo ikrav be'oalecha. A plague of leprosy will not come near your tent or camp. And that is mystery, that the leper needs to be without the tent, without the camp, right? And there's an entire mystery of going outside. I also elucidate a lot about the mystery of going outside, going without the domain of home. I elucidate about that mystery in my book.
Yeah, indeed.
Because
indeed, it's
also
a very
the basis for that is what Rabbi Nathan of Gaza said. He elucidated the mystery of an aspect of scriptures that most commentators do not give attention to, which is why did Onkelos translate, the Onkelos, the divinely inspired Aramaic translator of the Pentateuch, why did he translate the word whore in Genesis 34 as nafkat bara, which means the outgoer, the one who goes outside? And Rabbi Nathan connects it to the mystery of the thoughtless light. That is, its nature is to migrate, to move.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the mystery.
Yeah. These are very, very deep mysteries. I mean, this is why Hadar is very impressive, right? Because he's very well versed in very esoteric Shabbatanian and Frankist texts. Something that you're not going to find anywhere else. So very impressive. But yeah, you're right. This is very, very. You're touching upon extremely, extremely deep esoteric stuff. No question about it.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah. So yeah,
but yes,
uh,
continue, Hadar. Continue.
yeah. So the
Continue.
thing
I'm
is
sorry I
that the
interrupted
thoughtless
you.
light, yes, that the thoughtless light is the archetype. Robert Nathan does not explicitly say that because he tries to portray a more affirmative view of the thoughtless light. But the thing is that the thoughtless light is the mystery of not only of the destruction of the temple, but of exile itself. Not only of exile itself, but the constant migration of Jews between the nations through the four corners of the world. And because the thoughtless light is a mystery of movement, migration, and why does this movement matter? First of all, because movement is movement of extension. When a body develops in space, it extends. In order to form a form, you need to extend the lines, that the contours and the lineaments that portray its figure. That's first thing. Second thing is that movement generates warmth, and warmth informs shapes. Yeah, in alchemy, the main action in alchemy is combustion. In order to generate warmth and heat and fire, you need movement. So this is why the thoughtless light is the mystery of forming and the mystery of perfecting a form. And the other light, which is the thoughtless light, is the mystery of stagnation. It is the mystery of dwelling. Yeah, Rabbi Nathan said that the thoughtless light, the thoughtful light, is the mystery of dwelling, of the temple. Yeah, and also it is written that Solomon built the temple with wisdom.
Mm-hmm. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, because this connects to what we were talking about earlier, this is very, very deep, powerful stuff, right? So basically, Nathan of Gaza was not fully initiated because he viewed the Thoughtless Light as evil, and the Frankish Grandmasters have a completely opposite understanding, where we view correctly so the Thoughtless Light as being superior, extremely lofty, sublime, and holy.
Yes.
And that's the great mystery. So I fully explain this in my Pirush to Sefer Habria, which Hadar has read. I mean, Hadar has mastered. He's probably one of like maybe a few people that has completely mastered Sefer Habria alongside me, and he's read my Pirush, so he has a full understanding of these mysteries. But I'm not gonna get into it because this is very esoteric stuff. I shouldn't even be revealing. I shouldn't even be openly revealing this mystery of the Thoughtless Light being good and holy, because it's too esoteric, too sublime to reveal. But it connects back to what we were talking earlier, because we have Yaakov, who is a dweller in tents. He is the archetype of being static.
Yes.
And so that he's really the mystery of the thoughtful light. But you have Esau, who goes out into the field, right? Which again is an equation to movement, to migration. And so here we see how Esau is the mystery of the thoughtless light. And we see then why he is truly superior in every way to Yaakov. But these are very deep, these are very profound, deep mysteries that require much more explication and revelation that I just don't have the time and space to do here. So
Yes.
but yeah.
Yes, precisely. And this is why, although wisdom, as I said, is in the mystery of the tree of knowledge, and the thoughtful light is in the mystery of tree of knowledge. One of the mistakes that Rebbe Nathan makes is that he inverses the roles and associates the thoughtful light with the tree of life and the thoughtless light with the tree of knowledge, when it is in fact opposites. Yeah?
Yeah.
The tree of knowledge is in the mystery of wisdom and knowledge. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I reveal this in my Pirush except for Habria, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oops. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is why the wisdom is astrology. Yeah, it is the mathematical structure of the firmament, the mathematical constitution of the world. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why thoughtless light is the mystery of providence. Are you there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm here. Yep, you're right.
Sure. Did I explicate too much mysteries now?
Yeah, I we might have gone a little tiny bit overboard, but it's fine. It's fine.
You can edit
I'm
that
personally
out.
I'm very these days. I'm like a very reserved individual. You don't see me out as much as I was before because I've come to the realization that the vast majority of people are really stupid and very ignorant. I even feel that even most of the people that follow me on my blog and come to my channel are also very ignorant and profane.
Sure.
And
So I'll
so,
edit it out. Do you want me to edit the video for you?
what?
I can edit the video and edit out the parts that
No,
you.
no, no. You don't have to edit. It's fine. It's fine. No, you don't have to edit it. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that and that's just how I feel, and so that's why I'm very reserved. That's why I don't even. I have so many esoteric texts that I have not revealed because that's just how I feel. I just feel even of the people that follow me on my blog and my channel, even I feel that many of them are very uninitiated and very profane. You know, like they don't get it. You know, so it's very few. It's like I feel like it's just a handful of people that can understand, that follow me. That's kind of how I feel right now. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. But yeah. But is there anything else you want to say, Hadar? I don't know how long we've been on this. I think it's been like an hour, so I don't know. So maybe a good time to conclude. But
Yeah.
is there any concluding things you want to
Let's
say?
You sound depressed. Did I expose too much mysteries?
No, I'm not depressed. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just saying that if you want to, if you can conclude, um, you know, our conversation
So,
here.
if any viewers are actually not profane and want to see a good insight from a parashite on the Masoretic text and the Talmud, then purchase my book. I hope you will link the link of the Amazon page on your video description, etc.
Yeah. I'll leave a link to the book on the bottom of the video. And by the way, his book is very cheap. I mean, he's very nice. I mean, very gracious and nice. It's $10. I mean, if you can't afford a $10 book, then there's something wrong with you, quite honestly. It doesn't get any better than that. So, but yeah, and if if this video gets a lot of good positive feedback, it's very possible we can do another a follow up and a second video where we discuss more mysteries. I enjoyed. Hadar is one of the only people, if not like the only person I can truly talk to, openly and like enjoy talking to because he's like very close to my level, and we can relate so well. There's not really anyone else that is like near my level to the point that Hadar is. So go figure.
Oh yeah, thanks.
It's true. I mean, you're the only person. If I have questions, mysteries, like I have to come to you because there's no one else that's gonna understand. So
It's a lonely life to be a
it
grandmaster.
is. It is very lonely. It's very very lonely. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say before I end it, Hadar? Before you end it?
Sure, enjoy talking to you. We haven't talked a lot of time on voice chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Okay, yeah, I
nice
really
to
enjoyed it.
hear
It's
you.
really great. We got to do it more often, even if it's
Yeah.
not even if it's not
Fun. Yeah.
public.
Yes.
But yeah. But okay. All right. I'll let you go ahead and conclude the video, Hadar. I hope everyone enjoyed.
Sure. Yeah. I think I've said enough. We can conclude everything. Okay. So bye bye.
Okay. Shalom, everyone.